Where we dey carry before 100 naira, now if we tell person 200 or 150, people they are complaining about the money. They are saying government are not increase their salary, and now they come remove the subsidy. So people are suffering, and even we Okada that we are doing Okada now, we are suffering.
Welcome to the first episode of Let's Talk Naija. Let's Talk Naija is that talk show where we dig into trending social and political issues that affect ordinary Nigerians. It is that show which amplifies the voices of the common man on the streets. Welcome back. This is still Let's Talk Naija. Let's Talk Naija is that show where we dig into trending social and political issues that affect ordinary Nigerians. It is that show which amplifies the voices of the common man on the streets. In this episode titled Subsidy Wahala, our focus is on the negative impact of the subsidy removal on Nigerians. It is no news that the increase in the price of petroleum pump price caused by the removal of subsidy is biting hard on Nigerians, and of course, it's the hottest topic right now. Last week, I took a bike after work and I got talking with a bike rider after I confronted him about the increase in my fare from 200 naira to 300 naira. Oh my God. However, I calmed down like cold, chilled pure water when he explained to me how difficult things had become for him and other riders who depend on their daily earnings to feed their families since the removal of the subsidy. Or more, it is not easy. After speaking with him, I politely asked him for his name, and he told me his name was Awal. So I also politely asked him if he would like to go on record to give his perspective, and thankfully he obliged. The recording which you're about to listen got me thinking about how small transport operators and artisans are often left out in our conversations around the impact of subsidy removal on Nigerians. Sometimes we even blame them for increasing the prices of the services they offer us. Let's hear Awal's perspective.
We are not comfortable about this removal of the subsidy. Our working now is go down. We are no sea passenger. We are doing Okada and we are suffering. Before, the fuel we buy like 800, 1000 is okay for us. We are working per day. And now we are buying fuel for 2000, 2500 per day. How much we are getting? If you say now you get 2000 or 3000, you go buy fuel for 3000. How much you buy food and the rest? So before, at least a day, we are making like 3,500, 4,000, 5,000 per day. Now I am in Abuja and my family are in Kaduna. Now 2 days, I am trying to get the money that I am sending my family, and I never get even 2,000 to send them to buy food for the house. We don't know what we are going to do now. We are suffering. We are calling for the government to look this issue.
The situation is very bad, and small transport operators like Awal and even artisans need urgent intervention. What can be done to assist people like Awal? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Since oil subsidy was introduced by the Olusegun Obasanjo regime in 1977, no government in Nigeria has been able to find a way to remove the subsidy without hurting Nigerians. If President Tinubu manages to do this, he will be considered as the best president Nigeria has ever had. It is instructive to note that Nigeria has a huge revenue problem, yet we spent an estimated 8 trillion naira yearly on subsidies. LOL. I don't even think Dangote spent that much to build his refinery. It's even worse when you think about the fact that we spent so much on subsidy even though we did not have an accurate figure of how much oil we consume in this country. How did previous governments pay out all these monies without such an important data? Anything can happen in Nigeria. Money that could have gone into provision of healthcare, education and infrastructure flushed down the drain just like that. It is often argued that subsidy removal will also bring about competition and efficiency in the petroleum sector, which will translate into more investments and jobs for millions of Nigerians who are unemployed. Ain't that wonderful? The consensus among proponents of subsidy removal is that Nigerians have to suffer today to enjoy tomorrow in order to get the benefits of the subsidy removal. But how long do the masses have to wait to start enjoying the benefits? Is there a timeline These are the critical questions many proponents of subsidy removal have failed to answer. This is why it's very important to give citizens like Awal and others a platform to tell their stories so that we can continue to ask these questions till we get answers. Organized labor has suggested that the best way to kill subsidy without hurting the pockets of the masses is for the government to revamp existing refineries. Let's face it, it just does not make sense for Nigeria's oil to be refined in Europe and imported back to Nigeria and sold at international prices, and the government will now be forced to pay the cost in order to bring down the retail price. Why has the government failed to explore the options of repairing our refineries? Or is there a cabal somewhere frustrating the repairs of our refineries so that they can hide under the market forces to exploit the people by charging exorbitant prices for petroleum products? If the people must bear the burden, the government must also make sacrifices by reducing some of their excessive spending from the public purse. You cannot be telling the Nigerian masses to suffer to enjoy tomorrow. Meanwhile, they see officials of government balling and living the baby boy and baby girl lifestyle. Do those officials have two heads? Are they more Nigerians than us? You can't expect people to trust the government when the leaders don't take the lead by also making sacrifices. Nigeria has a huge poverty problem, and in our quest to develop by removing subsidy, we cannot afford to ignore the masses. They need to be carried along. They need to feel they belong. They need to understand that the government cares about them. Otherwise, we'll end up going round and round and round in circles. By the time Nigerians get so angry and they start protesting, the government might just be forced to resign the decision to remove subsidy. This is why we are where we are today. In fact, it is often said that oil subsidy is like Obasanjo in this country. This is not the first time we are hearing that, the government is removing subsidy, that they're regulating the sector, market forces will determine the prices. This is not the first time. We have heard this over and over again, only for Nigerians to protest, and the government now goes ahead and removes an insignificant amount, then comes back months and years later to tell us that the subsidy is still in existence. For how long can we continue like this? So the best way to avoid this kind of situation is to make sure that the masses are taken care of. All we want is a Nigerian that works for all. And let's face it, whether we like it or not, some people will benefit more from the subsidy removal than others. There are always people in this country, a few people in this country who always benefit, regardless of the situation we find ourselves. Subsidy removal may not be the silver bullet that we think it is. For all we know, we might just be placing the subsidy cabal with another cabal who are just out there to make money and profit off it and squander our public wealth that people have sacrificed, sweated tears and blood to sacrifice so that we can get to the promised land. This is why I don't subscribe to proponents of subsidy removal vilifying people who are against the subsidy removal for complaining about the hardship caused by the policy. Rather than tear ourselves to pieces, let's find workable solutions that will be less painful to the masses. Share your ideas on how Nigerians can cope with the removal of subsidy. How can they cope with the harsh realities? What should they do? This is still Let's Talk Naija. Share your thoughts in the comment section. And it's on that note that we've come to the end of this episode of Let's Talk Naija. Till next time when I come your way, I am Ihuoma Ukeje.